ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति. Today is Pavan Avsar of Mahashivratri. We all gathered here and देवों के देव महादेव आदि शक्ति माता पार्वती उनका उत्सव and we are continuing our journey with Taittiriya Upanishad. Very rightly, the ninth Anuvaka of Anandavalli. No fear, no duality. From Dvait to Advaita. Yato vacho nivartante अप्राप्य मनसा सह आनंदम ब्रह्मणो विद्वान न बिभेति कुतश्चनेति एतम ह वाव न तपति कि मह साधु न करवम कि महम पाप न करवमिति स य एवं विद्वान एते आत्मान स्पृणुते उभे ये वैश एते आत्मान स्पृणुते य एवं वेद इत्युपनिषत् iti navamo anuvakah. Meaning, he who knows the bliss of Brahman, which the mind is unable to grasp, and therefore whom all speech fails, he never fears anything. He never agonizes thinking, why did I not do the right thing? Why did I perform this sinful act? He knows all this spring from the great Atman. Good and bad, both of these indeed spring from Atman. He knows this. Thus says the Upanishad. Thus was the ninth Anuvaka. And iti Brahmananda Valli. Whenever we say, we discussed last week that good or bad, that all stems from Maya or three guna. So because of a mixture of three gunas, we do certain acts. Good or bad. Now that is also contextual, depending upon yuga, meaning time and place. Something which is good for one time, one place, may not be good for other place, other time. And something bad at a particular time or place may be good, different time, different place. So it all is contextual. And that is the play of consciousness. And in Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna rightly says, Atma doesn't have any attributes. Nothing good, nothing bad, nothing sinful, nothing pavitra, nothing rightful. It all is because of that avran of Maya. Atma forgets about all these things. And because the Maya, that avran, kind of creates or interacts with Maya of others. Now including humans, including other animals, including even planets, rivers, mountains, solar system, galaxy, everything. Everything has avran of Maya or Shit. And because of that interaction, this whole world came into existence. But once sadhak, when he or she is one by one, goes through all the 5 layers, Panchakosha. Ultimately, when Atma is, there is Atma Sakshatkar. One when knows Atma. After that, whatever he or she thinks is kind of beyond the place and time. So beyond any judgment or beyond any context. And maybe at that time, the mind might think, what were I doing in my past life? After this Atma Sakshatkar, what am I doing? Is totally different. So all these things are just the experience of a sadhak. So these things can happen or may not happen. It can happen even differently for everyone because all are different individuals. So this is Veda. Veda meaning knowledge, the Brahma Jnana. Knowledge is not just simple knowledge. Whenever our Shastras refer as Jnana, knowledge, it's always knowledge of Brahma or Atma. So Now, Bhruguvalli. Bhrugu is a Rishi Parampara. Okay? So, Bhrugu Rishis, they are called the first Rishis who gave us method of igniting fire. So, they are the ones inventors of fire. They are the ones who were the catalyst force to create this Srishti, this universe. So Bhriguvalli starts with Shanti Mantra, which we already chanted. We always start our class with this. Om Sahana Vavatu, Sahano Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karvavahe, Tejasvi Navaditamastu, Ma Vidvishavahe. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi. Om, may we all together be protected. May we all together be blissful. May we all together use our strengths to perform our rightful work. May our studies be brilliant and joyful. May we never have the poison of hate in our hearts. Om, peace. Many of the Upanishads, they have this mantra as a Shanti mantra. And in Bhruguvalli, first Anuvaka. Now the question by Bhrugu, the first Rishi in that parampara. And it's kind of a progression, step by step. We'll see how it unfolds. Bhrugurvai Varunihi Varunam Pitaram Upasasara Adihi Bhagavo Brahmeti Tasma Etat Pruvacha Annam Pranam Chakshu Shrotram Manovachameti Tahovacha Yato va imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti yat prayanya bhi sanvishanti tad vidijñasasva tad brahmeti sa tapo atapyata sa tapastaptva iti prathamo anuvakaha. Meaning Bhrugu, the son of Varuna. That's why his name is Bhrugu Varuni. So in old times, this is how the first name and last name used to be. Our last names have changed from being a parampara to being a profession since the Islamic time or Christianity time. Say, I am Patel because my ancestors, my forefathers used to own land and look after that. So that was profession. But our traditional last name would be the name of our parampara. Even some families in North India still follow that. Families in southern part of India, they have different tradition. They use father's name or village name or even Gotra. So Bhrugu is called Bhrugu Varuni because he was the son of Varuna. So there is a grammatical rule how to create last name out of somebody's first name. So Varuna becomes Varuni. So that's how Bhrugu was known as Bhrugu Varuni. Approached his father Varuna and respectfully said, Bhagavan, teach me Brahma. To him he thus preached food, pran, sight, hearing, mind, speech. Further, he said to him that from which all these beings are born, by which on being born they live, and into which on departing they merge. Seek to know that, that is Brahma. And so Bhrigu performed tapa. On having performed tapa, thus was the first Anuvaka. So Bhrigu Rishi, he had curiosity to know Brahma, like all of us, that what is Brahma. So the best person to ask was his father, Varuna. Now this Varuna could be Dev Varuna, or could be a Rishi, or could be a great Mahatma, great soul. Could be anyone. But if we look at Vedas, especially Rigveda, so this parampara comes from Dev Varuna. Varuna is the one, in today's terms, Varuna is the Deva or god of ocean and all the creatures of oceans. But in old times, Varuna was the atmosphere that surrounds Earth, that controls mega clouds, that controls rain, that controls any liquid on the earth. But ultimately, it's not just limited to oceans, but limited uh, even beyond. The whole rain cycle, the whole water cycle was involved, and that cycle was considered Varuna. So Bhrigu was from that parampara. So Bhrigu asked Varuna, could be his father, a person, could be Deva, or in a metaphorical format, if you look at a Sukshma Tattva that controls the whole atmosphere around us. Because of that, we live. Because of clouds, there is life. Because of water, there is life. So it could be that also. So Bhrigu Rishi asked, what is Brahma? Meaning in Samadhi or Dhyan, or maybe a question directly. And then the answer comes from Varuna. So Varuna says food, anna, prana, chakshu, which is sight, shrotra, hearing, mana, mind, and vacha, speech. All these are Brahma. And everything is born out of this. Because Brahma is everywhere. What is everywhere for us in this earth or in this atmosphere is what all these things are: food, pran, sight, hearing, mind, and speech. So from that, the life is born. From all these, the life is sustained and eventually goes back to all these. So if we follow the rituals of cremation, we become ash. All the material within our body, they are just evaporated, become part of the atmosphere. So that goes back. So that is Brahma. And Bhrigu Rishi didn't stop there. These are just words, right? But words do not mean anything until we experience that. So for that, one has to do tapa. And Bhrigu Rishi started doing tapa. So now what is his experience? Which is second Anuvaka. Food is Brahma. Anna is Brahma. Annam Brahmeti Vyajanat Annadhyeva Khalvimani Bhutani Jayante Annena Jatani Jivanti Annam Prayantyabhi Sanvishanti iti Tad Vijnaya Punareva Varunam Pitaramupasasara Adhihi Bhagavo Brahmeti Tahovacha Tapasa Brahma Vijijnasasva Tapo Brahmeti Sa Tapo Atapyata Sa Tapas Tattva iti Vitiyo Anuvakaha. Meaning, he realized that food indeed is Brahma. From food, indeed, are beings born. By food do they live, and on departing, it is food to which they return. Having realized this, he once again approached his father Varun and said, Bhagavan, please teach me about Brahma. He said, seek Brahma through tapa. Tapa is Brahma. So he performed great tapa. Having performed tapa, thus was the second Anuvaka. If we follow the the Anandavalli before this, we came to know about Panchakosha. So all these koshas, they are represented here as Brahma. So Anno Vai Brahma. Many a times in Upanishads, various Upanishads, we see this sentence, Anno Vai Brahma. And that's why whatever we consume, we must give full respect. We must take every bite with full respect and surrender. Then only we are bowing down to Brahma. Then only we can have Sakshatkar or experience of Brahma through Anna. Or not just Anna, but Annamaya Kosha. We know our body, right? All the body parts we can see or feel. But do we really have that realization? What is within this layer? We do not, right? And that is sadhana. So if we do sadhana, and in modern time, especially after Gautama Buddha, Vipassana sadhana is very famous, and I think majority of the people who do the 10 or 9 day sadhana, vipassana sadhana, they have this sakshatkar of Annamaya Kosha. They know what is happening within our body, how the blood flows, air flows, nervous system works, everything. So that means we realize the first sheath, that is Annamaya Kosha. So Bhrigu Rishi did tapa, meaning sadhana. Tapa, one meaning is heat it or warm it. Whenever we do tapa, whatever are impurities, they are kind of sublimated or evaporated, and we become pure, purer and purer. So he realized Anna is definitely Brahma. Because of Anna, we sustain our body. Because of Anna, the life is created. And when the life stops, again everything goes back to Anna. If we follow cremation ritual, Agni Sanskara, everything becomes part of the atmosphere and again comes back as food for others. If somebody is buried, eventually will take more time, but eventually all the body parts become part of the soil and will become Anna. Some plants will grow and will help other animals or other jivas. So this is a cycle. That cycle ultimately is sustained by Brahma. That is the first experience that we can have. If we consume every bite with such surrender, respect, and as a step of puja, then every bite becomes sakshatkar of Brahma. And that's why there are many rituals in old times. We forgot about this, but before consuming food, we take some water, right hand, and just encircle it and offer it, and then consume. Because that creates that awareness that you are now consuming food, so pray, respect, because that is Brahma, that is God for you for now. So consume it like that. And after finishing the meal, we also pray that that is an opportunity to have Brahma Sakshatkar through Anna. So that's how we must consume. But nowadays it's totally different, right? Even we don't have time for food, so we take food in car and consume. So that is not Brahma, or that is not what Bhrigu Rishi had found. That is not our parampara. So, and have proper time, that is also important, because I need to finish lunch in 5 minutes. That is not how it must be done. We need to have proper time for food. The rest of the things can follow. No matter how urgent the other things are, Anna is the priority, because of that we sustain life. If we don't give that a priority, what else in life? Whatever comes to us easily, we do not pay enough respect. We lose the meaning of it. So even fasting, upvasa we do, that teaches us that Anna is certainly Brahma. For 24 hours, if we don't consume food, whatever happens in the body, because of habit, because we consume food because of habit. When a small kid, he or she consumes food because there is a need. Even if you try to feed a child, and if the child does not have that urge, he will not take it. But we, because of our habit, 8 o'clock, I must eat food. Because of that habit, we eat food. It's not because we are hungry. It's not because we pay respect to food. So unfortunately, we lost all these meanings. If we can go back to our roots, pay enough respect to Anna, have proper ritual. If you don't use water and encircle and pour, that is fine. But at least look at food and create that bhava that you are Brahma and thank you, it's coming to me. So eventually every bite will become sadhana for you. And through that sadhana even, if you consume every bite with this bhava, maybe I'm sure within 30-40 days you'll have some experience that Anna is really Brahma. And it's very easy, very simple sadhana we can follow. And the goal of Upanishads is this. These are stories, but through these stories, we know the reality, what we should be doing, what is our sadhana. And this is very simple, very easy. We can do maybe every day we take 2-3 meals. That becomes our sadhana. We don't need anything else if we do it properly. And that's why Annadana, especially on occasions like Mahashivratri or Makara Sankranti or Deepavali, we do Annadana because Anna is Brahma. Somebody who cannot have that Brahma, if we help, that is the biggest service. So, but after doing that tapa, after having that experience, Bhrigu Rishi realized, no, there is something beyond Anna. There is something beyond this body of food, this physical body or this gross body. There is something beyond that. So he went back to Father Varuna. What is Brahma? Ask again. Because now he mastered Annamaya Kosha. He wants to go further. And now Varuna says, go back, do tapa, more sadhana. Third Anuvaka, prana is Brahma. So which is Pranamaya Kosha. Prano Brahmeti Vyajanat Pranadyeva Khalvimani Bhutani Jayante Pranena Jatani Jivanti Pranam Prayantyabhi Vishantiti Tad Vijnaya Punareva Varunam Pitaramupasasara Adhihi Bhagavo Brahmeti Tahovacha Tapasa Brahma Vijijnasasva Tapo Brahmeti Sa Tapo Atapyata Sa Tapastattva Iti Trutiyo Anuvakaha. Meaning, he realized that prana is Brahma. It is from prana that all beings are born. It is prana by which they live. And having departed, it is prana to which they return. Having realized this, Bhrigu once again approached Varuna and asked Bhagwan, please teach me about Brahma. He said, seek Brahma through tapa. Tapa is Brahma. So he performed great tapas. Having performed tapa, thus was the third Anuvaka. We discussed this many a times. Prana is not just oxygen. We call it prana vayu, oxygen in Hindi, English, any Bharatiya languages. But prana is something beyond oxygen. Oxygen is just the envelope, the energy envelope or the matter envelope, whatever way you look at it. But what is within that envelope is prana. And that prana is everywhere. And we can have access to that Brahma through prana if we follow pranayama. So if we do that sadhana, it is hard to do nowadays because of various reasons. Everything is polluted. Even the air we breathe in, it has a lot of impurities. But like Rishi has opportunity to go to Rishikesh and do sadhana, that is still pure, much more pure than what we get here. So when the air is pure, meaning there is more oxygen content, meaning more prana content, we get to have that experience. We start having that experience, and that is the goal of pranayama. Any simple pranayama like Anulom Vilom or Nadi Shuddhi. It is said that because of these current times, we must not do more than one pranayamas altogether. So do one pranayama in the morning, one in afternoon, the other in evening. 3 different pranayamas, different times. So that is the best thing to do. And any pranayama you can follow. Just as simple as watching breath. breath going in, going out. Simple pranayam, nothing else. Or Udgita pranayam, which is Omkar, creating sound, the great sound of Om with little loud voice, and focus on that sound, that energy. So that is Udgita pranayam. So we can do that. And for kids, nowadays kids are very agitative, right? Very agile. Their mind is everywhere. Their body is everywhere because of that. So for them, uh, Brahmari pranayam is the best, like putting all the fingers and creating that sound. So it is very useful to calm down body, calm down mind, and have more concentration. So there are many different pranayamas and there are different benefits. And then that after mastering some pranayama, we can follow bandha. There are three different bandhas basically. And bandha meaning close, closing. Close the physical body but open pranamaya kosha. So we close outer layer but open inner layer. And some of the bandhas, if I am not mistaken, uh, Jalandhar Bandh, it is called Golden Gate. So if we can master Jalandhar Bandh, it opens up Pranamaya Kosha to us. So we go to third layer directly from that. So it's like a golden body. And we come in contact with the third layer, Manomaya Kosha, which is the neural network. So it's very easy to do. All this is pure science, meaning this is the theory, follow the steps, these are the tools, and observe the result. That's what sadhana is, right? It's not miracle, it's not magic. You know the theory, you have the tools prescribed by rishis, you have the steps to follow by the rishis, and observe. So that's experiment. Glad that you are going to do that. At a young age is very important. So, Pranamaya Kosha, Prana is Brahma. Because of that Pranamaya Brahma, we all live. Right? If somebody, I have personal experience, if there is no Atma or there is no life in a body, no matter whatever the machines are doing, pumping air in the lungs, blood is still flowing, mind is still active, heart is still working, organs are still functioning, but there is no life. So there is prana tattva that is gone. And the food we consume, I think close to zero prana. Food is staying in freezer for how many days we don't know. Even simple as milk we consume, that is on shelf for months and then come to us. Bread we consume, even potatoes we consume, other vegetables we consume, people who consume meat, all these, the source of energy for us, the Annamaya Brahma, that is so contaminated in modern times. They don't have prana. Very easy to prove, right? That if we consume a frozen food versus freshly made food, right away we know the difference. Our tongue tells us. So what was missing? What is that freshness? That freshness is because of more prana content. So it's important if we consume more and more pranic food. And that's why processed food is bad, especially for kids. They like it because their tongue likes it. But it's very, very bad because pranic content is very low. We don't want to become like animals, like cows or goats, and just start eating leaves. We cannot do that. Our body is not made for that. So we have to cook it. But at least whatever best we can do. And well, I am blessed. She likes growing plants, so we get fresh food many times, at least 4 5 months, right? So it's a good thing if we can do it. Anything is good. But that prana, once we leave the body, where does prana go? There is Vaishvik prana. Every particle in this universe is filled with prana. It is hard to prove that the sitting here, does it have prana? Yes, if we have some tools, we can measure some activity, some actions within this sitting or any object. So there is some activity happening, call it energy. But it's just energy, it's just the heat exchange, it is just changes of chemical reactions. No, it is much more than that. And that is prana. Uh, life, breath, or life tron. Some of the words used in autobiography of a yogi. Maharshi Yoganand, he wrote his biography and he used this word life tron in English for prana. It's a life-giving particle, that is Brahma. And it is everywhere. So we are not unique. So life can be anywhere in this world. It just needs right condition. There are certain animals, certain living beings, even on this earth, they live in such adversarial conditions that we cannot imagine. So, quite possible that many parts of actually this whole universe is filled with life. It's just that we haven't come into contact. It's just that we don't know how to look at it. And that is all because of prana. And prana is Brahma. So it is that experience. So Bhrigu Rishi had that experience, but he thought, no, there is something beyond that. So he went back to Father Varuna. What is Brahma? Asked the same question. Varuna answered the same. Tapa, do sadhana, keep doing. You are on right path. So fourth Anuvaka, mind is Brahma. Mano Brahmeti Vyajanat Manaso Yeva Khalvimani Bhutani Jayante Manasa Jatani Jivanti Manah Prayantyabhi San Vishantiti Tad Vijnaya Punareva Varunam Pitaramupa Sasara Adihi Bhagavo Brahmeti Tahovacha Tapasa Brahma Vijijnasasva Tapo Brahmeti Sa Tapo Atapyata Sa Tapas Taptva Iti Chaturtho Anuvakaha. Meaning, he realized that mind is Brahma. It is from mind that all beings are born. Having been born, beings are sustained by mind, and having departed, beings return to mind. Having realized this, Bhrigu once again approached his father Varuna and asked, Bhagavan, please teach me about Brahma. He said, seek Brahma through tapa. Tapa is Brahma. So he performed great tapas. Having performed tapa, thus was the fourth Anuvaka. So now, Bhrigu Rishi has realization of Brahma through Manomaya Kosha. Many great sages, many great rishis, they always talk about Mana is Karan of everything. Even Sri Krishna says that in Bhagavad Gita. Because of Mana, mind, all these things happen. We feel good, we feel bad, we feel all these actions of creation, sustainment, and destruction. Everything is because of mind. So now if you look at it, three Deva, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesha, they may be outside, but they all are within us too. We have those capabilities, we have those attributes, we have those actions which are performed by three Deva within our body. So, which is, that is said that Yatha Pinde Tatha Brahmande, or Yatha Brahmande Tatha Pinde. What is within the body is in the universe. What is in the universe is within the body. So if there is Brahma, there is Vishnu, there is Shiva, they all must be within us too. We are part of that ocean. Ocean is there. We are not ocean. But at least we are that small particle of water of that ocean. And we have the same attributes, same qualities. same capabilities. And our goal of life is to access that, to realize that, to have experience. So now, Bhrigu Rishi, he realized that Mana is also Brahma. Because of Man, all these things are happening. Now, Man can be brain as well as that is something beyond brain. Brain is chemical actions, neural actions. But Mana is beyond that. The ability to analyze, the ability to act upon the information, ability to discernment. So all these qualities come from Mana. And Mana, modern science, it is going in that direction that the whole universe also has mind, a universal mind, a quantum mind. And that quantum mind is also acting upon us. Some call it simulation. Uh, there is a series of Hollywood movies, Matrix, if you know. So it also talks about all these things. It's a movie, Western concept, but it is based on Bhagavad Gita and this concept of universal mind. So they call it simulation. We are part of the simulation. Everything is part of the simulation. So for us, we already know. We know that this is Maya. And because of Maya and Triguna, everything is happening. And it is just the projection. So it is beautifully put into this example that Brahma is like that lamp which is at the center, and there are mirrors around it. So all the mirrors reflect that diya, that lamp. That lamp is Paramatma, Parameshwar, and all the individual mirrors are us, and we reflect. We are just the reflection of Parabrahma or Paramatma, but we consider ourselves different from it, and that's why this whole actions of this world. We like someone, we don't like someone, we want to do that, we want to do this. I mean, all this because we have forgotten that we are that lamp, we are that Parabrahma, Paramatma, we are the ocean. We are not different from ocean, we are in the ocean. And that's why Gautama Buddha said, Appadipo Bhava, be your own lamp. It does not mean you don't need Guru, it does not mean you don't need somebody to guide you. He simply said, Appadipo Bhava, meaning walk your path, be bright, enlighten. Know that Brahma within you, and that will guide you. So, and that's what we are seeing here. Varuna did not say do this, do that. He simply said tapa, austerity. That is Brahma. Bhrigu Rishi hasn't realized that yet. And Varuna keeps saying, tapa is Brahma. Do tapa. That whole process, that sadhana is also Brahma. Because it is also part of the Brahma. And because of that, what you come into contact, like Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, that is also Brahma. Everything is within Brahma, everything is Brahma. Call it matter, call it energy, call it action, call it object. Subject and object, both are Brahma. We cannot realize in our mind, right? We always know about object and we know the subject. But here, object is Brahma and subject is also Brahma. And who is performing? Brahma. For whom? Brahma. For what? Brahma. Everything is Brahma. So now, beyond Man, fifth Anuvaka, intellect as Brahma. Vijnanam Brahmeti Vyajanat Vijnanat Deva Khalvimani Bhutani Jayante Vijnanena Jatani Jivanti Vijnanam Prayantyabhi San Vishantiti Tad Vijnaya Punareva Varunam Pitaramupasasar Adhihi Bhagavo Brahmeti Tahovacha Tapasa Brahma Vijijnasasva Tapo Brahmeti Sa Tapo Atapyata sa tapastattva iti panchamo anuvakaha. He realized that intellect is Brahma. It is from intellect that all beings are born. Having been born, beings are sustained by intellect. And having departed, beings return to intellect. Having realized this, Bhrigu once again approached his father Varuna and asked, Bhagavan, please teach me about Brahma. He said, seek Brahma through tapa. Tapa is Brahma. So he performed great tapas. Having performed tapa, thus was the fifth anuvaka. Now Vijnanamaya Kosha, which is the intellect, Buddhi. That is also again Brahma. Everything is created with Buddhi. Everything is created or sustained with Buddhi. Everything is destroyed with Buddhi. We know that if we look at how the life has sprung on earth, there is some universal intellect that was at play, and out of organic molecules life sprung, and it tries to sustain itself even as tiny particles as virus. They also know how to protect them. Even this sitting, if I sit on it, it tries to protect itself. It generates a pressure, a reverse pressure, a friction, meaning it tries to protect itself. It has its own mind. We accept it or not, we believe it or not. But everything, every object, there is, we call it action and reaction. Why there is reaction when perform some action on an object? So that reaction is universal mind, that universal intelligence at play, that knows how to sustain, that knows how to protect. And ultimately it can also decide to go to destruction. If it don't do anything, the chair sitting there, maybe after 2000 years, it will be eroded and will become nothing without being performing any action on it. It has its own mind, so to speak. We admit it or not, but is it alive or not? That's debatable. We know that it is not alive, but that object itself ultimately will exhibit some intelligence. Very rudimentary compared to us, but still it has that. And that's why our Rishis say that mountains, rivers, even villages, cities, countries, the whole earth, solar system, galaxy, everything has their own mind when they come together as a unity. As a unity, as a unified entity, they exhibit different intelligence. At individual level, I have intelligence. But as a country, which I am part of, there is a different type of intelligence at play. As a dweller of this earth, I also exhibit, as part of that unity, some different type of intelligence. As being part of galaxy, even though we don't realize, but we exhibit different type of intelligence. So it's variation in degrees, variation in actions, but ultimately is part of the universal Vaishvik intellect, Vijnanamaya Kosha. And Bhrigu Rishi realized that. Again, that is Trideva. And he realized that, but he thought, okay, there is something beyond. So he went back to Varuna, father. Varuna said the same thing. Keep doing. You are on right path. Sadhana, tapa. So ultimately, you'll know what is Brahma. And so he did again. And that is fifth Anuvaka. We can stay here. There are more things which we can discuss, because the next one is something very profound which we have gone through in Kathopanishad. So we can talk about it in detail. We can stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti.